Hey, welcome everyone. This is Moyna Bass Fishers. I am Jim Moyna, professional fisherman. In this video, we are going to change the lower unit oil on this Mercury Pro XS. It's 225 horsepower. I bought it in 2023. So I'm going to change this oil in this gear case. Here we go. All right, let's get to this project. Pretty simple. Step one, take the propeller off. Step two, take the bolts out that basically the plugs for the gear case that contain the lower unit oil. So take those out. Step three, let the oil drain. Step four, replace the gaskets on the drain plugs with new gaskets. And step five, put the oil in. Step six, put the plugs back in. Step seven, put the prop on, and that's it. So here's the basic materials and tools you need. So paper towels. This is a prop wrench. This is a 10 millimeter socket to take the drain plugs out. Here's my gaskets right there. The gear lube. That's the gear lube to use in this motor right there. And you want to use pretty much the whole bottle. So we'll get into that when the time comes. You need this board, some kind of board, to help take the prop off. I'll show you that in a minute. And then an oil pan. So let's get to it. Okay, here we go, taking off the prop wrench and board. So you need the board to keep the prop from spinning. So I put the board right up there, wedge one of the blades up against it, take the prop wrench, put it on the prop nut, and there we go. Now it's just a matter of, oops. Okay, so there, nuts off. Now we take the prop off. Now there's a bunch of washers on here. So you got a washer like this. Remember the order. This is like the skinny one. Then you got like a little bit thicker one. That's next. And then you got a really thick one. That's next. And then the prop comes off. There we go. So that's what you're left with. You know, the order of importance of those washers, I don't really know. I just leave them in the same order that I find them. All right, so now the next step is taking out these drain plug bolts right here and right there. Holding the camera here so you can look at them. Right there and there. So that's next. All right, so now we're taking these nuts out. I got my drain pan in place. I actually lowered the lower unit down, and I will lower that even further eventually. So there, loosen that one. Loosen that one. Now, the important thing here is you want to take note of the color of the oil. If it comes out creamy looking, that's bad. You want it to come out dark, like almost the color of my pants or the shroud, just a dark color. And let's get this one out. And this one. Okay, it should start flowing out of there. And I tilted back all the way. So now it's tilted back, and you can kind of see the color of that. That's the color you want it to be. So now we gotta wait for a while. For me, it's usually like 25 to 30 minutes to make sure all of it comes out, and then we basically reverse the steps. All right, so we've drained the oil from the lower unit. It's pretty much quit dripping. So now it's time to put the new oil in there. And the oil looks good. There's no sign of water, because if there's water in there, the color won't look like this. It'll look like kind of creamy, like a creamy coffee, just a lighter color. And if you have a lot of water, the more creamy looking it is. And then you might actually even see water. But even just a little bit of water can discolor it, which means, so if you do have that the wrong colored, the lighter colored oil, it'll be kind of a brown, creamy. Then, you got a water leak, which means you have a seal leak, which means at that point, you want to get that seal fixed. So take it into your Mercury dealer so they can figure out what seal is leaking and do the repair. But I'm in good shape here, so now it's a matter of putting the new oil in. So this is the oil I'm using, and this pump here is an accessory I bought a long time ago. So we take the end of this nozzle and we just screw it into the bottom hole. You want to put it in the bottom hole because as you pump this in, you want it to, eventually it'll come out the top hole. So I'm going to screw that in there. Just about there. Should be just about there. This is getting so old that the threads on this yellow attachment actually might be getting stripped out. Okay, now the other thing I want to mention is, with the old style outboards from a long time ago, you'd have bolts. You'd have a bolt here, then up here, so you would just wait for it to pour out and you'd get the whole can in there. With this style, what I've been told by Mercury techs is that, because basically you want to get this whole bottle in there, which I never can, but I can get almost most of it in there. And what you got to do is you actually got to tilt it up to do this. Because if I just put it in there down level, it's not going to get, it's going to get about half of my bottle here in there, and that's not enough. So let me get the pan under there in case if I spill. All right, so now it's just a matter of, and this takes a few minutes to pump this in. So I'm going to start pumping it in there, and eventually it'll start coming out this hole here, and then that's when I know I've got enough. I'm going to tilt this up a little bit more. All right, so let me take a few minutes and pump this. All right, so this hole here, you can see now as I'm pumping this, that oil's coming out of there. So I'm full. So now what I do is I leave the hose hooked in there, but I put this top screw in while that bottom one is still inserted in there. So I put that one in. Then it's, and I also, and by the way, down there the little gaskets.
It's going again.
Okay, by the way, I got the yellow gaskets, the new ones on there. Took the old ones off, put the new one on. So now, this goes in the bottom hole now. And I got almost all the bottle in there. It started blowing air in there along with oil, which means the bottle's basically almost empty. So got the right amount in there, and now I just got to tighten them up. The 10mm socket. How tight do I tighten these? Tight. I mean, I don't put all my effort into it, but pretty tight. And these bolts also have a slot for like a flat screwdriver. So if you don't have a 10mm, you can use the a big screwdriver that you can get a lot of leverage on to tighten that. All right, so let me put the final screws on that. That ain't going anywhere. Okay, now let's put the prop back on. So I got my washers in place. And one thing to note is, right now I got enough grease on there, but these spines on this prop shaft, you want to have some grease on there. I got enough on there. I feel that I don't have to add any. Okay, there we go. That's on. And now the prop nut. And last but not least, we gotta snug that up. Now this is a special prop wrench, and it's got a little flex to it. So I basically am able to put all my might into this, and it won't over torque it. So, but the flex of this handle, like, compensates. So make sure I don't make sure that I don't over torque it. There. Okay. All right, so that is the job. We're ready to go. And I do this about, I don't think I've said this, but I do it about every 30 hours of engine time. That's more often than what's recommended, but I just like to do it that way. I know if I go like the full allotted time, the oil will be a lot more burnt smelling and stuff. And plus, if you run a lot of wide open, which sometimes in tournaments I do, well, every tournament competition day I'm running wide open. But so if I have a lot of tournaments in a row and stuff, and I know I'm running long distance, wide open for long periods of time, then definitely, you know, maybe change it sooner than later. So every 30 hours kind of is what I shoot for, and that's about what this one was. So we are ready to put this bolt in the lake later, soon. So thanks for watching. Over and out.